approval point where you are now approved, but you need to sustain a couple of more years within ship, develop real-world evidence that verifies your safety and effectiveness of the product. And once you've done that with both pre-market issues, earlier time to market, verification with real-world evidence, now you can go outside of ship and market more broadly. And the key points here, I'm sure a lot of you are thinking, well, how's this really going to work, Vasum? Does it really make a difference? The key point here, I think, is a number. It's not one incentive. It's an entire aggregation of incentives that hopefully can reduce all of those hurdles that we talked about. And if we can reduce those hurdles, we can make people begin to think differently about the potential interest, business and otherwise, financing and otherwise, of actually investing in pediatrics. And one of the points that I brought out earlier is it's no longer the technology that really is limiting our process here. It really is a little bit of our thinking and the system that we have to work within, right? So this is really intended to change that thinking. And there's a number of key points here I think that are important. We can go through in more detail at some point. I also want to clarify that this concept is not something that the FDA specifically runs. It is something that will be governed by an external body, and that individuals that would engage in the SHIP process would engage in the process according to those governing principles, and the contracts would be according to the governing principles there. And this is in no way a way to circumvent current evidentiary standards. You will not only be held to the evidentiary standards, but you will also, in this system, you will ensure that before a product gets broad marketing across the US, you have met safety and effectiveness for all products. Because one of the concerns that's been raised in the pediatric community is that sometimes, as we talked about earlier, some products are given a marketing approval with a different evidentiary standard, a safety and probable benefit standard according to the HDE program versus a safety and effectiveness standard according to the PMA program. So people might say, well, why is that? Is that okay? Should we continue to do that? This system will help to overcome that and ensure that all pediatric products that are marketed nationally will be according to that safety and effectiveness standard. There is no difference for children. Certainly there are huge benefits across the entire stakeholder community, but one of the ones that I want to point out is the patients, right? Patients will have more timely access to cutting edge technologies that can make a difference in their lives, in their children's lives, and those families' lives. And that's what we're really trying to work towards, is to ensure that there is a well-controlled process that has all the appropriate regulatory safeguards, but that still continues to support innovation and facilitate access for patients for devices that are necessary, that can make a difference in their lives. All of this happens only by us working together, and we need to advance together. I have outlined here what some of the key areas with respect to developing SHIP in terms of work streams, what they would be. We certainly need to go through, how do we develop the financing system? How do we develop sustainability? What's the governance? How do you qualify a hospital to be part of the SHIP system? It can't just be everybody. How do we ensure the appropriate regulatory oversights and regulatory programs are put into place? But the intent here is to start to think about this in a more comprehensive way, to really address a transformative change that can not only make a difference for children, but ultimately really will advance technology innovation for everybody. We're thinking that once we're able to select a neutral third party that will be able to clarify all the work streams and bring together all the right experts around each of those work streams and develop all the documents, that would be pretty much a 2-year process. We've had some great support from a number of organizations, including AdvaMed. Thank you, Tara, and all the group at the AdvaMed Pediatric Working Group for all the efforts that you've put into making sure that this moves forward and that we can move forward collaboratively. We've spoken with the American Academy of Pediatrics, and they've been very supportive of the concept as well. I've had an opportunity to speak with a few organizations that are partnered currently with the FDA, and the C-suites of both of those organizations are very supportive. And we've also had a chance to speak with the Milken Institute that does a great deal of public health work and is very interested in trying to help with novel financing structures that can create sustainability in the system. So a great deal of support exists. There are many more that have heard about this and are certainly willing to support it. And I would like to say, this is going to be a first-time announcement here now. I've been working a great deal on figuring out how do we get some funding to get that first meeting together, the pre-consortium meeting, right? Bringing everybody together so it gives everybody an opportunity to understand what SHIP is, clarify the concept, and then begin to clarify how do we start taking the right steps forward. So this is before the the consortia is built. The good thing is CDRH, we've been able to secure funds to at least have that pre-consortia meeting, and we're hoping to have that meeting within about 1 year, and we'll be announcing some more information about that soon. So definitely a huge step forward. I think all of this really comes back to that initial story that I told you about a child with congenital complete heart block. The system that currently exists puts this child through this type of technology that seemingly is a standard of care. And yet this technology is not what really can be done, right? We know that that's not what can be done. If a system like SHIP existed, if that ecosystem already existed and it was in play, there is a potential that this child wouldn't have to go through all of that for her entire life, but maybe something this small and this minimally invasive could have been put into place, and that would have made a huge difference in that child's life, right? This is something that I know all the individuals that do this type of work every day deal with, and all of you that are trying to develop novel solutions deal with. And I thank everyone for the work that they're doing, because only with this type of thinking, the innovation that goes on, the commitment to this work, will we really be able to get to a place where we have a system that truly works for everyone, both children and adults. So just want to say thank you, and more information on the Innovation Challenge coming your way soon. Thank you very much. I don't know if we have time for questions, but happy to do what you think is best, Kalali. It's got to be 2, right? This question's over here. Yes, absolutely. Tomorrow. And I just want to make sure that while we're getting ready here, for everyone that can stay tomorrow morning at the Pediatric Working Group meeting tomorrow morning at 9:30, we will be discussing the SHIP concept in a little bit more detail. I just wanted to lay out the vision for you so that we can start to have a detailed conversation tomorrow and begin to go through this in a little bit more clarification for everybody. So that opportunity exists. Please, go ahead.
Yes, so I think it's great that you're creating these programs to create incentives for manufacturers and developers to bring their ideas to the FDA. One of the main challenges is that the FDA doesn't create or doesn't say, hey, this is something we're going to develop. You're relying on us to bring you the ideas and then put the money and the investment to get it through. So something like this that reduces that amount of investment is very helpful. One of the things I really like there is you said reverse extrapolation. You know, and is that something that will just be through the SHIP program, or are there currently reverse extrapolation opportunities where you can take something, take a path through, you know, in the pediatrics and then extrapolate towards the adults? Is there anything like that currently available?
Yeah, so just to clarify the question a little bit as well. So currently we have an extrapolation program that allows us to leverage adult information or adult data or older pediatric data from one pediatric subpopulation to another, or from adults to a pediatric subpopulation. And the PEDS team that I mentioned earlier, that group is intended to provide consistent review around extrapolation on a voluntary basis. The potential is that we could develop a program that does quote unquote reverse extrapolation, right? From pediatrics to adults. Because sometimes if you can meet the complex needs of a child and create the technology that meets those needs, it's a little bit easier to actually make it work for adults. It's not as easy sometimes to make it go from adult to pediatric, right? So the intent of a program like reverse extrapolation would be to take the potential and the current momentum around technology that truly is miniaturized, that could make a difference if you develop it for children first and then help create adult data with more limited adult clinical trial sizes. So hopefully it does reduce cost, and it may actually reduce timing to market and give you both a pediatric and an adult indication.
Yeah, that's pretty exciting, because on the drug side you have things like that, but for device, this is great to create that incentive for people to push things through on the pediatric side. So thank you.
Thanks. And it is a potential, something that we have to still think through, but it's a concept that we have to work on. Anybody else? Thank you very much.
Terrific job, Vasum. That was amazing. It was like a 1 hour straight talk. How many slides was that? That was like about 89 slides. That was incredible. Very impressive. I have to do a much longer presentation now. For the next 2 hours, I'm going to talk to you. Just kidding. All right, so who wants to hear who won the pediatric competition? Anybody? Anyone curious? All right. So I'm just going to very quickly say that we had about 30 judges, I think, today, and the judges did a huge amount of work, not only in asking questions and taking notes, but we spent, a good, what was it, like an hour and a half or something in the back room, talking, debating, discussing every single one of these companies. We didn't just say, oh, here's the winners and walk out. We went on and on and on and really had an in-depth discussion about everybody. So I want you to know that, like, for every single one of the companies, I start off always by saying, is there anyone we could just eliminate? Is there anybody who we can just say, that doesn't work out? We didn't eliminate anybody. Every single one of the companies got discussed. And that was really a testament to the quality of the companies that were selected today. So first of all, big hand for all the presenters today. You guys were terrific. And I really mean that. We're not just trying to pat you on the back. Every one of the companies that was here we thought was really innovative and interesting, and we're really happy you were here. So let me start with that. What we're going to do now is I'm just going to announce simply who the winners are. Each of you, if you'd come up on the stage, I think they're taking the chairs off so that there's room for people to come up on the stage behind me for this so that people don't fall off the stage. We've had that happen before. It's not a pretty sight. I think Eric almost killed himself from American Biometrics recently, wherever you are here in the room, jumping up on stage. So don't jump up on stage. Don't leap on stage. All right. With that, I'm going to announce each of the companies. You can applaud as I'm saying them. Each of you come on up here and join us on stage, and then we'll all stand here for another minute and applaud and whatever else you want to do. And then we'll be doing some more photos after all that at the end, where we'll all be taking lots of orchestrated photos for all of our promotion. All right. So with that, in no particular order, I'm going to announce the 6 winners of today's competition. So first up, Novanate. Novanate, come on up. Terrific job. Join us up here on stage. Next, Algometrics. Come up on stage. Fantastic. Paramus. Come up on stage. Halfway, that makes 3. Ooh, the tension is just incredible. All right, next, Epitel. Two more to go. Rayos. Come up and join us. Is Rayos still here? Rayos, yes, thank you. Yeah, we want to do a little bio break, and then, all right, last one. Last one. You ready? Radiant oximetry. Come on up. Come on up. And then a big hand here. Let's move out of the shadows over here. Big hand for all of our winners over here. They were all tremendous. Each one of them will be getting a $25,000 prize to help advance your work. You'll have access to our ecosystem and all the things that you heard from Vasum and others that it takes to be successful. This is really an amazing opportunity for all of you, an amazing accomplishment. We're really proud of you, and great job today. So terrific job, everybody. So we're going to do a whole bunch of photos, I think. Sorry. Yeah, I was going to say 2 things. I was going to say there's a reception outside. So very important things. There's a reception outside. Stick around because I think we're all going to be coming out as well there too. But we are going to keep our startups up here for a little while to take pictures. And then one more thing for the judges. Can we have a hand for the judges? Judges, all please stand up. The judges who are still here, who stuck it out through the whole day, by the way, too, and who are here for part of all this. Thank you, guys. We couldn't do this without you as well. And thank you, Kalale, for putting this all together. It's amazing. Thank you. And thank you, everybody else.